I feel like we have this long American tradition, whether it is, I remember watching the Disney movies when I was a kid, but the Boston Tea Party and what have you. And, we have this, you don't have this up in Canada, Norm. You're a very conformist society, but we're a society of nonconformists. And we tend to take matters into our own hands and do things like throw tea into the harbor when we don't like the way things are going. I think that this is a very healthy response. And I take a lot of inspiration from these groups, and I would like to see more of them. Obviously, there are safety issues. Obviously, it is better when we work in conjunction with local officials. And I guess I would go back to what Andrew said earlier about being strategic. I think if we're doing things just to be anarchists and shake things up, I don't see that as scaling to something. If we're doing something incremental that is not sanctioned or not allowed, but it's part of a greater strategy to raise awareness, to point out something, to kind of shift public opinion, or to lead to something else, I think that those things are really valuable. Like, they're priceless. They really are astounding. There have been a number of places where people have gone out and said, there needs to be a bus shelter here. There needs to be a bench here because people are waiting for the bus. And they go out and put it in, and then they basically dare the public officials to take it out. I think that that is work that needs to happen. I here in my hometown, we had a very dangerous street crossing. And I'm not one who thinks that having orange flags that you can wave when you walk across the street is a good solution. But in the absence of anybody taking this seriously, we went out, myself and a little group here went out and used PVC pipe to tape or zip tie a little holder on the 4 stop signs. We put the orange flags in each of them, and we put a little sign there that says, feel free to use these when you cross the street to raise your profile. And people use them all the time. They use them significantly. I got hauled into the county. I got hauled into the city council meeting. I was actually invited to just talk to the staff, and then it wound up, it was a fully scheduled council meeting, and they berated me for this. And then I got hauled into the county offices and because it was a city county roads. The county engineer wanted me to take it out. And he said, you are encouraging people to cross here, and it's dangerous to cross here. And I said, there's a school on the side. This is a neighborhood. People are crossing here. He said, you're encouraging this to happen. Take it out. And I refused. And I told him, if you think they're dangerous, you take them out. The reality is they never took them out because they didn't want to be liable for them taking them out and then having, well, there was something there and now there's not. I feel like that is a role we can fill, and a role we should encourage people to fill. And I just ask that you do it strategically, and that you have a long-term vision in mind. It not just be chaos for chaos's sake. Does that make sense? You can get behind that, can't you, Norm?
I can. We are very polite and very sensible in that regard. But it's it's an important thing, because we encourage people to take action locally, and sometimes that action almost feels like it has to be transgressive in order to move anything forward. On the other hand, yes, it requires that resolve to show up at council meetings or go out for coffee with a city councilor, work within established systems as much as possible. Well, I've said, be as friendly to a councilor while also preparing to endorse their opponent. It's that wisdom to the way that the strategy of political action has to happen that I think sometimes we need to work on. But another key part of it is
couldn't agree more. Hey, Norm.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And I feel like the default here has to be kindness and humility in the face of this, but also insistence, right? Mm-hmm.